Hi guys, welcome to Origin. The song you just heard was a number called Aesthetics of Hate by the band Machine Head. The lead singer Rob Flynn wrote that song after reading the article which is going to be the topic of this video. I am going to dissect that article in this video. To give a bit of background to this article, because this is a metal thing, so you guys, well, some of you aren't going to know what any of this is about. On December 8th, 2004, the Pantera and Damageplan guitarist Dimebag Darrell was shot on stage in the El Rosa Villa in Columbus, Ohio. Now, Dimebag is one of the most respected metal guitarists ever, and 6 days later, a man called William Grimm wrote an article called Aesthetics of Hate. That's the article I'm going to be dissecting in this video. I'm going to link it in the side. I want you guys to read it before you watch the rest of the video, just so that I don't taint your opinions. It's in the first quote box, the green box that you come to when you first click on the link. Now, I'm really quite offended by this article, so if this comes off as an ownage video, so be it. Let's get started. Aesthetics of Hate. R.I.P. Dimebag Abbott. And good riddance. Time for Conservative Imagination. By William Grimm, Iconoclast contributing editor. This sets the tone for the whole article, by the way. You've undoubtedly heard by now that a demented fan last week killed heavy metal guitarist Dimebag Abbott at the El Rosa Villa in Columbus, Ohio. While I am extremely happy to hear that the assassin was shot to death. Let's just pause there. Extremely happy? Is that deliberate choice of words? I mean, I know the guy killed one of the most respected metal guitarists ever, but you're still extremely happy to hear that he was killed as well? By a brave Columbus policeman. Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. And I in no way want to engage in a blaming the victim scenario. And yet, he does that. I cannot deny that there is much in Mr. Abbott's demise of one being hoisted on one's petard. I don't know if I'm saying petard right, I don't care. The squalor, inhumanity, filth, both in the metaphorical and hygienic senses, depravity, ugliness, and ignorance of everything that heavy metal represents. Like rap, I cannot use the noble term music in a description of heavy metal. Creates a mindset among its devotees in which Mr. Abbott's assassination was an event that was all but waiting to happen. Let's stop there. Stereotyping an entire genre of music, and yes, I do say music because that's exactly what it is, and rap. I know people say that rap isn't music as well, but let's not kid ourselves here. It's still a genre of music. The assumption that we are in some way disgusting people because we listen to a certain kind of music. Do I really need to say anything more about that? Obviously that's wrong. Our community here on YouTube is proof to the contrary. Now, I don't know the music tastes of the people I'm about to mention, but Aaron Ra, Tool Time, pretty intelligent people, especially Aaron Ra. How can you possibly argue the contrary? External appearance says nothing about what's in here. And if people are compassionate and intelligent and want what's best for other people up here, then why do you honestly care what they look like on the outside? I find that extremely offensive. It was highly amusing and also terribly sad to watch on television fans conducting a vigil for the slain Mr. Abbott outside of the El Rosa Villa. Highly amusing. What's amusing? What seems so completely absurd about people, you know, paying their respect to someone they had enormous respect for? It was an assemblage of ignorant semi-human barbarians who were filthy in attire and manner, intellectually incoherent, and above all else, hideously ugly to the point of physical deformity. I think what I said before covers this point nicely. Doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, it's what's inside that people, well, certainly I care about, and people I think in general should care about. I don't normally deal in shoulds, but I just want to throw that out there. Here is a definite case in which the outer appearance of these fans accurately represented the hideousness of their souls, that the physical deformity of their ugliness was self-inflicted, makes the spiritual tragedy of their misspent lives all the more tragic. Again, why are our lives misspent just because we listen to a certain kind of music? That doesn't make any sense. It's stereotyping, it's stupid. But one can see why the heavy metal fans so closely identified with Mr. Abbott. He was an ignorant, barbaric, untalented possessor of a guitar and large amplifier system. That's Mr. Grimm's opinion, I'm not gonna argue against that. Check out his stuff. Make sure that's an informed opinion. I just have this sneaking suspicion that that's not the case. Freakish in appearance, more simian than human, he was the performer of a type of entertainment that can be likened only to a gorilla on PCP. Lacking subtlety, wit, style, emotional range, and anything approaching even the smallest iota of intellectual or musical interest, Mr. Abbott was part of a generation that has confused sputum with art and involuntary reflex actions with emotion. De gustibus non disputandum est. Matters of taste are not subject to argument. Check out his stuff. Make sure that's an informed opinion. I just have this sneaking suspicion that that's not the case. That has been a general principle of aesthetics for some time, and when we are talking about the visceral preference for Mozart or Haydn or Beethoven among civilized human beings, we are on pretty safe ground. I do not understand exactly why I prefer Haydn to my good friend who prefers Beethoven, but we both agree, as do all civilized human beings, that both Messrs. Haydn and Beethoven are numerous steps further along the evolutionary trail than Dimebag Abbott. Now, you can very easily say that you prefer Haydn or Mozart or Beethoven or anyone like that to Dimebag or vice versa. I have a problem with this idea that they're somehow better than Dimebag. How exactly do you make that connection when they both produce completely different music? How exactly do you come to that conclusion when the composers I mentioned have had literally hundreds of years to appreciate, if you like, in popularity, in reputation, and Dimebag has only had like 20 years? How exactly do you pin down in any way how Mozart or Beethoven or Haydn are any better than Dimebag, Pantera, Damage Plan? How? You can't boil it down to just popularity, otherwise you can say that Britney Spears is better than probably most metal bands. I don't have the exact statistics, but that's just to put it into perspective for you. What objective elements could there possibly be about the music which you can then use to say that that's better than another piece of music, other than popularity? When I compare two different pieces of music, I don't say that one is better than the other. I say that I prefer one to the other. Because how can any piece of music be objectively better than the other? Here is one area in which conservatives have failed, and failed miserably. Whether it is out of a lack of interest or despair, conservatives for too long have ceded the entire field of aesthetics to the trust fund red babies of the blue states. And look at what this has brought us. So-called heavy metal music, so-called rap music, operas and stage plays in which modern stagings reduce Verdi and Shakespeare to the condition of a schizophrenic's finger paintings. Leftist domination in the visual arts has made a mockery of the aesthetic greatness of modernism and replaced it with the turd encased in lucite, and the grammatically challenged racist rantings of Amiri Baraka now pass for poetry.